Hi everyone, this is Tracy from WeCraft at Home. Thank you for joining me, and as you saw in the previous photos, we are doing a triple flip and see. We're going to do so that the middle one's just slightly bigger, but yeah, triple flip and see. I'm just going to get that out of the way. So this would be the card folded, and then you have one layer, and then these two parts are the mechanism, and these are the flaps that join to the mechanism. It'll be easier to see when we're at the craft table, but I'm just going to show you how to size it all together. So let's just move it all over. Now I've just got this out in case. So the card size I'm choosing is A4 folded in half, so it's an A5 size card. So this would be it folded in half. This is obviously the full length. You see you've got the piece cut out there. That's to make way. I'm just going to grab these two. Oh, I need that one as well. So where these two are on there, we also have the white piece of card. That is the bit you pulled for the mechanism. So if it is there and you don't have the cutout, it's hard to grab hold of. So if we cut everything out, it's easy to grab and pull. That's the reason for doing that. But if you, so what I've done in my practice is I just cut from the mat, and then this is shaped cut. And then for the actual card, rather than doing it on the scan and cut, I just followed the cut and cut round it with a pair of scissors. But I was trying to work out how the best way to show you how to do it if you wanted to do it on the scan and cut like this. Let's just move this back out the way. So as you can see, this is like, I put it up there just to get the mat and everything right so that I could see what it looked like on screen. So you can see it's exactly half. This is the size of an A4 sheet. This is the size of an A5 sheet. I'm just going to send that to the back. That way we can get to both. So that one is it already folded, and this is the whole sheet. If you wanted to do it on the scan and cut, so both of these are cut out, you obviously can't put it on the mat folded. So the best way to do it, we're going to get an ellipse, which is this one here. And we want the width to be 1 inch and the height to be 4 1/4. So we've got, that's the oval cutting that we'll be using on everything else. But then we just need, doesn't matter what shape you get, you need a straight shape. That is the same width as this, which was height, sorry, 4 1/4. So we want the height to also be 4 1/4. And then we are going to make sure they're aligned through the middle, and then we're going to grab this one and make sure that's aligned through the middle too, so that we know it's in the right place. Yeah, and it looks like I've got it on the right line there as well. Let's just come out a little bit. Okay, so we're only using this as a guide when we move down to make sure that we get it in the right place again. So what we need to do is first of all grab that and the oval and weld it. And then we are going to duplicate so that we can use it again down there. And then we're going to grab that and the large sheet, not the small one, the large one, and subtract. There we go. And then we're going to move this sheet. Okay. We're going to send this back to the back and we're going to move this A5 sheet down so that it lines up. And then we're going to grab that other shape and put them through the center. and then move this so that it's on the same line. Let's move in a bit closer so you can see it a bit clearer. There we go. Display, zoom to mat size, so we're back out. And then again, we're going to grab the shape and that and subtract. And that way, we move that out of the way. That will be your A4 sheet, and then you can just do a score line through the middle. I haven't measured where it is because it's very simple. You just put it through the center like that. Use this one. And that will be your A4 sheet with the bits already cut out ready, if you want to do it that way. I will leave it in the files for anyone that wants to use it, but for now I am going to hide it so it's out of my way, and we will get on with actually showing you the whole card. So we need, let's start with one rectangle. So this is the one we're using as like this one, that we're not actually cutting out, but we're using it to make sure that everything else is sized correctly. And for that we need the width to be 8.3 and the height is 5.8, and that's exactly what an A5 would be like. So that's your base card. Then we need another one that's going to be the mat, so the first layer, and we are going to do that 8 by 5.5, and it will fit just nicely there, and that will be this one here that goes in there. Now this one is just another, I won't do it because it is literally, at the moment it's just a rectangle that is 6.5 by 3.5, so 6.5 by 3.5. And then we've got this one. So for this one we need another rectangle, and this one is going to be 7 3/4 by 4.5. Now we need to do the slots in there, so for that I am going to use the X and Y. To get little slots like that, all I used is the path tool and then just drawn a line straight down like that. And if you offset and go to 0.04, you want outward and you want to delete the original line. And if I click off it, you'll see there is your slot line. So we need one at 3.6. This is the height we're talking about. So one at 3.6, and then if we duplicate, we want that one at 3.1. We want it just a little bit bigger than the parts that are slotting in. So that's how this is worked out. So 3.1, and we want 2 of them. Now, to get them at the right spacing, we want one of the small ones at 175. We want this one at 4.5. So we're following the X, 4.5, and then the small one again at 6.75. There we go, and then you're going to just get all 3 and make sure they run through the middle like that, and then you will subtract. So now they're actual slots. See, there's nothing in the middle of them. And then we're going to cut out this piece, and that is where you saw me before. So you need an ellipse. You could use a circle, but you need an ellipse that is 1 inch by 4.25. And we're just going to bring it over there so that the center of it, which is this little blue box here, is in line with the actual line. So we're going a bit closer. And we want this to be on the line. You see there, the blue line going up is actually on the black line of the rectangle. And then we are going to grab both. Actually, what we're going to do first is duplicate, so we don't have to get another one, because we'll be doing it later on as well. So we're going to grab both and subtract. And that is our piece. So display, zoom to match size. We've now got this piece. So that is the main parts we've got. So we've done that and that. Put over here what we've done so that you can make a bit more sense of it. And we've done that. The next parts are these parts here. They are the bits that slot in here and then stick to the toppers. So that's the easiest way to do it. So you need I'm not going to do them again. I'm just going to give you the sizes because it is just a rectangle that you need to do 5 by 3.5. That's the big one. So just one big one for the middle, 5 by 3.5, and the score lines have got to be at 2.5 and 2 3/4. If you put it on the X and Y, you can add the score lines like that. If I show you, so the X and Y is on 0, 0. At the moment they're grouped. If I ungroup them, the score lines are at 2.5, and then this one is 2 3/4. So we just got a 1/4 inch score line. That's all we need. That's that one. The smaller ones you want 2 of. Again, they're on the X and the Y. It's easier to do it that way. And these ones are 3.75 by 3. And don't forget you need 2 of them. And the score lines are at 175 and 2. And you want 2 of them. So that is because they're slotting into this. Now the mats for them. So these ones, you can have 2 if you want. So this side that I've got right now would be like the inside of a card as you open it. So you don't necessarily have to do it. I just think it looks prettier if you do. So if you do want one for that side, then that one it's 225 by 325. So 2.25 by 3.25. But the other side is a little bit smaller. It's 2 by 3.25. That is the side that you are going to decorate or put a text on or whatever it is you want to do. That's the side that you're going to see when you open it up. For these ones, you want, I think they're the same size. So it's 1.5 by 2 3/4. Yeah, they're the same size. 1.5 by 2 3/4 for both of them. And again, you don't have to do this side, but I will be. I didn't on my practice one, but I will be for this one. And then all that's left is the toppers, which I'm going to bring in. But first of all, let's just concentrate back on these. So this is the basic card shape. We don't really need to do anything with that. With these 3, I am just going to make sure they meet through the middle so we know where we are. This one is going to be sent to the back. This one, you want it so that it comes out as far as the card shape. Let's put it there for now. When we just take the oval out of this, there's still bits top and bottom. Let me show you. There's still a little bit left on the top and the bottom, and that's not going to happen with this. So this is where you need to get a square, a rectangle. It really doesn't matter. You do the height at the same. Okay, if we place this first so we know it's in the right place, and then this one is going to be level with that. So I'm just going to go out a little bit, make sure this is in the right place. Okay, because then what we're going to do is the same thing that I was showing you at the beginning with the card. We are going to weld them together, actually, just so that you know what I'm doing. If we don't weld this together, this is the mat for the card. If we use that with the oval, and I subtract now, what we get left with is it's almost coming back round. Can you see? So that when you've got your card on as well, you've got that sharp point, which is not going to help for taking this out. So I'll undo that. That is why we need to join these together. I've just gone backwards so that I got it in the right place. So if we weld them, and then we take that piece and subtract, so that we are taking a hole out of the matte piece as well. And then you've got the card, and then it's up to you if you do it like I showed you, or if you just cut round it. I'm going to cut round it once I've stuck it on. So that is the main cuts, and then you've got the toppers. So they're going to go on like that. Okay, so the main topper, the large one, is 275 by 375. And the mat, I think I done it on offset. So all these I've done the 275 by 375, and then I've done offset 08, inward, leave as is. There we go, and it's exactly that. Okay, that's what I've done for all of them. So this one is 2 by 3 1/4. So this one is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4, and these two are 2 by 3 1/4, and then 08 on the offset to get the smaller mat inside. And they're what you need for the tops. So believe it or not, that is all of it. As always, it'll be available to download if you don't feel you can do it yourself. I think that's everything. So I will see you over at the craft table. Okay, as you can see, I'm over at the craft table. I decided to do mine, it's actually for my 9-year-old grandson, so it's kind of aimed at boys. The thing you've got to remember is to make sure that you've got every piece in the right way. There's lots of different pieces, and they're all lots of different sizes. So that these are very similar, but they're a bit smaller, and they're going inside the book, so they are a bit smaller than them. So just make sure you've got everything in the right places. You can see here I did make a little bit of mistake. I didn't have enough to cover that one, but you can see I had these for the inside, and I put them there instead of where they meant to be, so I had to take them off again. But I'm still going to use the same card. I've just covered it with what I had left. You're not going to see it anyway because it's going to be glued down that way, so you're not going to see the inside, so it didn't really matter. Okay, so I've got my card blank. I've got the piece that's the mechanism you're pulling out, and I've got this piece. I've got a backing paper on there, and then I've got this piece that these slot into. So if we just do that first, we're going to slot them all in. Just going to move that out the way for a second. So I've slotted them all in just, and you want them so that the fold, you've got the first fold there and the second fold like that. That's how it's going to work. So make sure this one has got a little bit of an edge. So there, that's the correct way we want it. So we're going to turn it over, and these little bits here, we're going to stick to this card with the arrow. I've already put the arrow on from my stamp I always use with all the different words on it. Push, pull, twist. It's a made to surprise one. Okay, so now we're just going to glue all them. Just make sure they're all straight. That's why it will be better to glue it, because you've got a little bit of manoeuvrability if you need it. Of course, we want this piece arrow facing down so that it's pointing outwards, and you want to do it so that it's near the end of this, not exactly on the end but near the end, and like that. Make sure it's straight, and then turn it over and make sure that on the other side they're doing good as well. Which this last one came out. Okay, so that's the main mechanism there, like that. And that will pull out. I'm not going to do it right now because I'm still waiting for it all to dry. So the next thing, while they're there, before you stick it down, these are the 3 squares. Now I've already laid up the different mats, and I've put, I don't know if you can see it, but I've put foam in between the white layer and the grey layer. And the white layer, you are going to stick, if you put glue between the 2 score lines, and you're going to stick this so it's butt up to the far score line, so you've got that. So it's stuck in between the score line, and you're going to do that for the other 2. Okay, so now they're all attached. Just make sure that they're all right that side. That feels okay. So now what we need to do is put some foam tape either side of your mechanism, like that, and a piece down there. So before we carry on, we need to stick down these bits to the edge there. And the way to do that is just a thin line of glue along the edge like that. On the, just on the flap here, not on this piece. Okay, this one isn't sticking very well, so I'm just going to give it a minute while we're discussing that. As you can see, I took some of my brick from the background because you're not going to see it, so it didn't matter. Okay, so for me, I got the name of my grandson, and I'm just going to put it across there. And then I've got this little set of dies that spell out anything you want it to in little flags. So I've got it saying happy birthday. I've got some grey string I was going to attach it to, because I haven't got a lot of room to actually put happy birthday on there. So I was trying to find a way of doing it. Let's see if that's stuck okay now. Don't know where that one don't want to go. Okay, I'm going to leave this in just so that I can show you how easy it is. I somehow got glue on there, so it's stuck it down. Can you see? Which is why it wasn't working. I stuck it down there by mistake. It shouldn't be stuck onto this, only onto this. So that is the problem that we had. I think what I'll do is, for this time, I'll use tape so that I can only stick it to where it needs to go. The other two stuck fine, but that one I somehow got stuck. Okay, hopefully that's a bit better. There we go. So that's the idea, finally. So now let's carry on. I'm just going to take all this foam off. So it slots in really nicely there. And then I am just going to quickly put these letters on so you can see it. There we go. So I've got the letters in. I put flags there because it was a bit lost there on its own. And now if we open up to this, we can decorate all the insides. So this is where I got these. Just because I don't like anything bare. And I'm putting them just on this side. With a white piece. On the grey. And I'm going to do that on the other two as well. Fits nicely on there. So that's most of it, and then I've just got to do the happy birthday. So it's, you can see as soon as you've got all the parts, it's very simple to put together. Just be careful with the glue, but if it wasn't for that it would have worked fine. And it's top load, they match perfectly like I showed you, so you can have a top load card like that. Obviously I've still got to do the happy birthday. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it across there or maybe in them two. I think probably across there, and put some some pictures in there. But that's how it works. Turn it round and you can see. There we go. Nice triple flip and see. So that's another one of the flip cards that I've shown you. I hope you enjoyed that. I'll show you a picture of that once it's done. And I will see you again soon. Bye for now.